Hello, good evening, and welcome to Bengaluru, India. This is the FIBA Women's Asia Cup 2019. Is the qualification to the semifinals, the game between Australia and Chinese Taipei. Well, we just watched Korea punch their ticket for the semifinals with a hard-fought win over New Zealand. Now it comes down to Australia and Chinese Taipei. Of course, Australia made it to the final of the FIBA Asia Cup on the first ever attempt in this tournament 2 years ago, but they lost in a thriller yesterday to China, which forced them to play this game. Here's what we saw earlier today: Philippines winning and Korea, of course, winning by 6 over New Zealand. So now, after this, the Final Four field will be complete. I'm Jeff Taylor, joined by Mark Mills, and Australia start as prohibitive favorites in this game, Mark, but you never know in the game of basketball.
Yeah, and the thing that really plays into my mind is their loss against China yesterday, the 1-point heartbreak loss that they had. They had the chance of winning it on that final play, but Wang came in and stole the ball away and stole the win away from them. And you kind of ask, for Australia, what impact has that had? It goes one of two ways. It either kind of destroys you a little bit and you lose your confidence, or it just reinforces that steal and makes you even more determined to go out and prove a point.
Yeah, I think the Australians have been in the wars enough to be able to bounce back from a tough defeat, especially in competition. I mean, they know that they should come out and take care of business against Chinese Taipei. It just means they've got to play one more game that they're expecting to play. But nevertheless, Chinese Taipei, I mean, this is a great moment for them to face Australia and a chance to really put basketball firmly on the map in that country. And during this tournament, they have been problematic for teams that are tough national teams. I mean, they played Japan very tough. They played Korea very tough. And you know, they want to do the same thing to Australia.
Yeah, they've had some big games. You know, they took Korea to what was a really scrappy opening game and only ended up losing by 4 points. How things could have been different if they won that game. But yeah, really impressive performance, you know, from Chinese Taipei. The issue they have, like some of the other teams, is on the offensive end. Only averaging 60 points per game. It's going to be difficult to beat Australia if you only score 60.
So Australia seem to be in a good mood. The smiles have returned to their faces. They've come out, and I mean, really, they want to leave a winning mark on Bengaluru with them on the top of the podium. They were denied that spot last year by Japan in that incredible title game. And really, last night's game against Japan was last night's defeat against China was equally exciting. If it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. Anyway, Sandy Brundell in Australia and also Chinese Taipei will now stand on the hardwood, and we'll listen to the national anthems for both teams.
Please remain standing for the national anthem of Team Australia.
Sandy Brondello and the man with the plan, Ed Wagner. Shake hands. Ken Wagner, excuse me. And so do the players at midcourt, and we'll get a look at the referees who are going to take their customary position at midcourt. I'm sure that Wagner is relishing this opportunity to match wits with Brondello. And I'm waiting on the refs. Where are they? Okay, I think they're ready. Okay, turn around. Okay, so it's E. G. Yoon, Glenn Cornelio, and Rakesh Ramalan Gai with the responsibility of calling tonight's game. So we'll take a look at the rosters and the starting fives for both teams.
And it's a huge game for Chinese Taipei. Obviously, they want to go one better than they did in 17 and making it into the top 4. And for me, 2 players stand out. Cheng's the obvious one, 9.3 points, 4.7 rebounds, put up 14 against India yesterday. But Chai is going to have her work cut out. 5.3 rebounds, and she's really going to have to be that paint protector for Chinese Taipei.
Huang Pingjin, Tsai Pei-Chen, Ching Yi-Hu-Siu, Peng Zhu-Chen, and Lin Yu-Ting are in the starting 5 for Chinese Taipei.
Yeah, and for Australia, you know, they will have to get over that heartbreak, but I have a feeling they're going to win this game by battling on the boards. 51 rebounds a game is what Australia are averaging, which is just unbelievable. But looking at their roster, O'Hay is playing exceptionally well, seems to be controlling things. 6 assists in that game against China yesterday. McBeggar is really having a breakout tournament, 13.3 points and 5.7 rebounds. But so much talent, you could pick out any player and have found a good performance from them.
Well, Jenna O'Hay, Leilani Mitchell, Beck Allen, Eze McBeggar, and Kayla George. Kayla still sporting that smaller photo.
She must have been standing further away. She just must have been a bit further away. Yeah. Obviously, the winner of this game will go on to face Japan tomorrow in the semi-final, and what a game that will be based on how Japan played yesterday. They were absolutely unstoppable. A clinical performance from Japan.
Hey, who's missing?
So Coach Wagner.
Hey, okay.
Let's listen in.
Who's 4? You're gonna. Okay. Hey, make sure we get back. You get number 5.
OK， 你手5号控球，反正你手控球就对了。然后丁丁你打的话是打1号 ，OK。13号是那个黑的，谁要守？4号、5号是那个壮的，对，说很壮的那个。然后9号前锋 Allen，OK。
Hey, everybody talking.
So Ken Wagner, the coach, is interesting. He says a few words, and then there's about 10 words that are translated. Interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely different. We had a conversation earlier in the week about trying to coach for a translator. You wonder how much.
Do you think she says, never mind what he says, do this?
She's a secret head coach. Is this what you're saying? You're blowing it wide open.
Sandy Brondello.
She certainly doesn't need a translator. That's for sure. She seems to get her message across very clearly to her team. And so far, bar the game against China, where they were, you know, turned over in what was a minor upset, they've performed well for their coach.
Well, they could end up facing China again. You never know, but they'll have to win a couple of games before that. Of course, China would also have to win their game against Korea in the semifinals. Well, good evening. If you're just joining us from anywhere in the world, be it Chinese Taipei, be it down under, be it the Americas, anywhere, this is the qualification to the qualification to the semifinal here at the FIBA Women's Asia Cup between Australia and Chinese Taipei. Australia trying to bounce back from a tough 1-point loss to China. One of the, I would suggest, great games in FIBA Women's Asia Cup history. And Lin comes out and puts up a 3. Here's O'Hay doing what she likes to do, push that fast break. Kayla George fouled as she runs the 4-well herself. Gets down pretty quickly.
Yeah, she does. I'd still rather, though, in that situation that she doesn't stop short. She keeps the momentum going forward. Because ultimately, just the size difference and strength difference that she has is going to pay dividends for her.
Did a huge 3 yesterday from the right corner. She's got a really nice touch. Always has had.
And I still remember that half-court buzzer beater at the half against New Zealand as well. You just saw her shatter New Zealand spirits with that one.
I mean, that is a textbook free throw. I mean, everything about it. He puts Australia on top 2-0. Here's Lynn again. You heard Wagner saying he wants to see the offensive movement that cuts to the basket. And Lynn puts up a very difficult shot. Tsai does a great job of getting the rebound, even though George was there.
And like I said before the game, she's going to be so important for Chinese Taipei.
Good job by Ching knocking it out of bounds. Leilani Mitchell inbounds the ball. Mitchell had given Australia a late lead last night, only for trying to come back. Nice shot from Beck Allen. That's her reputation. Good shooter. Good D by O'Hay, denying Tsai.
Chinese Taipei to come away with the win here. You do feel they're going to have to be near perfect. And you also feel they're going to have to increase their offensive production.
Wow. Well, they inbound the ball down low. Australia get a block. Australia telling them right now, if you're going to shoot, you better shoot it from deep because nothing's coming inside. And Lynn puts up an air ball.
And that's going to be the problem. They've shot okay from outside in the tournament, 30.6%, but not probably strong enough to win them this game just from outside. They're going to have to find a way of getting to the basket, whether that be in transition or working something in the low block.
The dump to McBeggar and goes in and out. Ty puts it on the deck and goes under O'Hay. Kind of a wild shot. Beck Allen. Beck Allen, second consecutive make. That one from 3.
And based on these first couple of minutes, it doesn't seem that that loss to China has dented their confidence. They're playing beautiful flowing basketball on the offensive end, unselfish, cutting to the basket, dishing it back out.
Beautiful play that time for Chinese Taipei, finished by Lin. Leilani Mitchell misses badly. Pong from deep misses everything. Gosh, Chinese Taipei seem a bit nervous from long range. Look at the passing between McBeggar and George. And George just laughs, running back down the floor thinking, why didn't Ezzy shoot it?
Almost like a training drill. After you, no, after you, after you. Just, yeah, wonderful unselfish basketball, and Chinese Taipei might be in for a long night.
And Lin was out of bounds. So, again, kind of a nervous beginning here for Chinese Taipei. Jenna O'Hay goes out and Steph Talbot checks in. Remember, the winner of this game is going to have to turn around and play tomorrow as well. So, could be a good thing. Don't lose your rhythm.
No, absolutely not. But you imagine whoever does win this game will want to try and win it as quickly as they can here tonight.
McBeggar. banks it in and goes to the line.
Yeah, McBeggar's been unbelievably impressive, just 20 years old, and she's leading the Australians in scoring with 13.3 points. And yeah, you're excited to see where her basketball journey will take her.
The thing is, whoever wins this game has to play Japan, and that's like, how would you describe that? It's like you're going to have to go out and run, sprint for 40 minutes.
Yeah, they don't take
basically.
They don't take their foot off the gas, that's for sure. And you're also playing them in the middle game tomorrow, so you're getting a little bit less rest than you would if you were in the other semi-final.
Wong was going nowhere, but then Pong just stays there and intercepts the pass from Talbot. Georgia's going to be all over the stat sheet after tonight. There's Mitchell to Talbot. Allen pulls up at the line. Well, what do you think about Chinese Taipei so far?
On the defensive end, they're doing, you know, as best as you can expect at the moment. I wouldn't be surprised if Coach Wagner brings out the 2-3 zone that he's run previously, because it seems to have worked before for them. It's just offensively, what are they going to do? They can't just rely on three-point shots because they're not going for them. They have to find something inside, and it's clear the Australians are not willing to give up any space inside.
Garvin, meanwhile, has checked in for Australia. As has Ebseri. Ebseri was the player. The design was to get her the ball last night on that last play. Here's McBeggar again.
And it almost paid off last night. She came away with 13 points. And more than that, she came away with a real leadership feel about it. She came on and controlled what the Australians were doing and really gave them some direction. 5 in, 5 out from Coach Wagner.
Here's McBeggar, her development. You know, you talk about the battles down the road and being able to beat a team like the USA in the big games. You know, she's going to have to be the type of player that takes her game to that an even higher level where it is right now.
Well, she's drafted 12th in the recent WNBA draft for the Seattle Storm, so she's in good hands. You can't pick much of a better team than Seattle to go and play for in the WNBA.
Well, when she goes, I'm sure she's got plenty of options.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine she's short of options to play anywhere in the world.
I think she's a pretty good student, I hear, down under. Places a lot of importance on that, which is good. Here is Chen coming into the game. Tough move by Chen, able to get it up. And Beck Allen called for the foul.
And I like that, you know, Chinese Taipei not backing down from the challenge. They know they're undersized in comparison to what are a bunch of trees for the Australians when they go in there. But they're still going to be positive. They're still going to drive to the basket, and it's the right move. You know, what Australia want Chinese Taipei to do is just accept the three-point shot. Just keep jacking up threes in the hope that you'll find some form. What Australia don't want them to do is actually keep going at them. So it's smart from Chen to take that mantle and go into the paint and try and find just the smallest of spaces to get a shot away.
Chen makes both. So Chinese Taipei trying to take that scoreboard over here. There's Garvin. She's been pretty good in this Asia Cup, as has Blitzaz, who's in now. She gets it over to Ebseri. Garvin, one of those many players coming out of the Australian Institute of Sport. She's on the ball now. Chen gets it inside. And following up Han after missing the first one. Seacamp. Now Talbot from the left corner. That's good.
And Australia just relentless. The issue you've got is, I was saying, it's going to be a battle inside the paint, but the Australians have some unbelievable shooters across across the floor as well. They can run small ball, they can go a little bit bigger, they can, so many options on the offensive end.
Three-pointer. Edbury looks up. Passes over to Blitzavs. Oh, that was a tough catch by Blitzavs. She did well.
Yeah, it was right on her shoelaces. That's where the advantage is to Chinese Taipei when the bigs are getting passes like that for Australia, but she managed to drag it back up and squeeze a shot away from the glass.
Ju in the corner and off the back for the iron. Australia dropping the hammer pretty early here, up 21-6.
Yeah, and for Australia, they'll be more than happy the last couple of possessions. Chinese Taipei has received the foul there from Chu, and last couple of possessions for Chinese Taipei, they've accepted a semi-contested three, which is exactly what Australia want them to do, whereas at the other end, they're giving up uncontested threes like that one for Australia.
Darcy Garvin misses from deep. One of the many Huangs. Number 17 gets it off the chin. Now putting it up, and another air ball. And Huang Ching. That's their efforts from three-point range tonight are unrecognizable compared to yesterday.
Yeah, 0 from 5 for Chinese Taipei from outside. They're relatively open shots as well, but you know, it's what Australia, they're taking what Australia are giving them rather than grabbing what they want.
Lauren Nicholson in the game now for Australia, number 1. And foul called on, I think, Blitzavs. Clearing out. That's Garvin. She played for the Australian youth teams. Played the Under-19 World Championship in Lithuania 6 years ago. And here she is, putting pressure on the ball. Almost forcing the turnover. Han. And both teams getting after it. Look at Australia getting on the floor. Nicholson.
Wan Ling Chen there fighting hard to get onto the hardwood against, I think it ended up being 3 Australian players that dived on top of it, trying to get hold of it, but yeah, locked it up. And it's going to take that kind of almost Herculean effort from Chinese Taipei. They're obviously down by 15 already, and Australia are not relenting. They will not step back for 1 second of 40 minutes.
Chen drives in and gets to the, puts it up and is fouled by Nicholson.
Yeah, just a quick first step was enough. Look, the little fake got Nicholson moving forward, and the quick first step is Chen to the line.
Nicholson, one of the many Australians, in fact, that have played at St. Mary's. A Gale, and Patty Mills. They get both the men and the women. There she is, passing it back outside to Talbot. Now a chance to run for Chinese Taipei, and perhaps their best chance to score. They're going to pull it back out. Long rebound out to Chu, and Blitzavs saw that pass coming from a mile away. Blitzavs, good pass to Darcy Garvin.
Just beautiful team basketball. And ultimately, you look at the 5 that Australia got on the floor. not one member of this is their starting 5. This would be a second string lineup for Australia, and they still play exactly the same style, the same intensity, and still an absolute ton of talent.
Drew drives in. I don't think Australia's going to be bothered about holding it for one, are you? Seekamp goes in, takes the contact, and will go to the line. Fouled by Chin.
Yeah, and wonderful core strength from Seekamp there. And she drives to the basket. She's looking across. She knows the foul's coming. And yeah, wonderful upper body strength just to hold the defender away and get herself to the line. But yeah, you have a feeling that Australia would like this done by halftime. They want to, you know, be secure. Job done for them, and be able to rotate through players as much as possible.
Yeah, they've gone from dropping the hammer to having dropped the hammer already. It's 25-7, and a nice touch by Seekamp. Watches the ball fall into the hoop on the free throw. So now 26-7 for the Opals. Chinese Taipei in need of some inspiration from somebody, anybody. Will it be Huang? Yes, it will.
That's a tough shot. Wonderful off the left hand. Such precision off the glass.
Huang Ling Chuan scores the last 2 points of the quarter and cuts that deficit back to 17 with this.
Yeah, you see her turn the corner. Seekamp can't quite keep up with her, and it's a nice little left-hander off the glass.
Australia, though, in command, 26-9 after 1.
And here your first quarter shooting stats. Chinese Taipei attempted 7 from outside, didn't connect with any. They've only connected with 3 field goals in that first quarter, as Australia really just locked down the defensive end. And for Australia, it's job done after 10 minutes at both ends of the floor. Offensively, they've racked up 26 points, shooting 56% from the field, 40% from 3, and 100% from the free throw line. And defensively, just restricting Chinese Taipei to 9 points. Australia, obviously a signal to send out, as we see some of the highlights from their first quarter after their 1-point loss to China yesterday. You have a feeling that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get out there and show the tournament that they should still be one of the favourites for the top spot on the podium. And 10 minutes down, it's hard to argue with that fact.
Well, the winner advances to face Japan. Japan are probably thinking to themselves, okay, we've had a great FIBA Women's Asia Cup. We've done what we've had to do. We've won our group to go straight to the semifinals, where we're going to have to face, in all likelihood, Australia. In a way.
Yeah.
But then again, I mean, China have already beaten Australia, so they've kind of earned the right to avoid that type of semifinal. I mean,
yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, the issue you've got is, we talked about it before, is it good to have tests early on or later on? But Japan haven't been truly tested yet, whereas both Australia and China have been tested. So is that better for them that they've almost been tested to destruction?
Yeah, you're right. Nicholson over to Abby Bishop. O'Hay back in, and there's that soft touch. Huang Ling Ching. There you go.
Yeah, a 5-point run just for Huang Ling Ching on her own.
And now Nicholson loses it out of bounds.
And I like this from Chinese Taipei. It would be so easy just to roll over and say, do you know what, we've done really well to get to this stage, to make it through to, you know, this semi-final qualifier. But they're not. They're not going to step back. They're going to keep fighting. They're going to play every possession as if it's a fresh one.
Good job picking the ball up from Huang Xingting. Now Chin launches it from deep. Ju just looks out and knows it's a mammoth task here. Against the green and gold. Garbin. Of course, both of these teams will end up playing at the FIBA Women's Olympic pre-qualifiers. And then where they'll try to get to the qualifiers, obviously. You would expect Australia also to make it to the Olympics as Oceania representatives. Abby Bishop does a good job moving her feet on defense. She's really played well at this Asia Cup.
Huang Qingting there being called for the offensive foul, pushing away. She drove to the basket. Let's have a look at the replay. Let's watch that spare arm. Oh, yeah, I see that. It's almost part of the natural running style. Oh, there you go. That's the one in the face. That's not a tough call. That's probably the easiest call for an official to make when it's that obvious.
Yeah. Abby Bishop is just holding her nose. I'm sure she's taken a few shots there in her career. Garbin. Tough shot, tough make. And Chinese Taipei called timeout. So here again is Garbin.
Yeah, for me, it's the right time for Coach Wagner to call a timeout. They've gone now down to 20 points down. Still 8 minutes to play in the first half, and if Chinese Taipei can, you know, increase levels at both ends, maybe they have a little run, maybe bring it back to a little bit less than 20. If they can get to half-time at this kind of gap, I think they'll be reasonably happy with that. Gives them the chance.
When you switch, on those up top, we switch. And you've got to be in front. And then our weak side help has to be there.
在前之后，进攻的在后面，对不对？然后我们的三线过来，一定要帮忙，他这个球就不会进来，即使进来了，这个也上来了，好吗？好。
Okay, but we have to play good defense. Hey, you pick up the guard so they can't run fast break.
OK， 运球的人一定要记得，有可能不是叮叮其他人，对到球一定要让他慢下来，好不好？慢下来。
1, 2, 3, defense.
This way, just play it this side. You can play off it and come off, and that would be a red. Okay? On the loop red, if you're doing the red screen, look to slip it too. Okay, yes, okay. Execute, 1, 2, 3. Execute.
Slightly deceptive rebounding graphic saying that Australia haven't got any offensive rebounds. You do have to bear in mind they're shooting 63%, so there's very few offensive rebounds for them to get at the moment.
Yeah, good point. Very good point. Can't rebound what's not there. Here we go. And seeing O'Hay making that pass.
And Garbin's had a good start. She's performed well. She's really relished when she's got minutes in this tournament. You've seen Garbin almost grow as the more minutes she's got, and it's great for Australia to be able to have a game like this where maybe she's going to get prolonged minutes and really bed herself into the Asia Cup.
Becky Allen.
Such a sweet stroke. Just a catch, pivot, and shoot. Just textbook.
Oh, nice finish there by Chai. Work to the left hand.
And I think Chinese Taipei look a lot better when Chai's on the floor. She brings a lot of veteran leadership with her.
But right now they're having a struggle trying to stop. Oh, and that looked like almost a hold. But nevertheless, Chinese Taipei will keep possession. Garbin's going to go out, be replaced by McBagger.
Yeah, Garbin will be happy with the start. 6 points already. 3 from 4 from the field, and 1 assist. And it really is, when you watch how Australia rotate through their players, it just doesn't stop. As you look at the bench, how much talent is sitting on that bench right now. And if you ever play against them, it just must be demoralizing when you think, yep, we've worn down this player or that player, and then they just roll out another global superstar of the game.
Ching. Do you think they would have practiced today had they won yesterday?
Yeah, you'd imagine so. I don't think
maybe earlier.
Yeah, I don't think it would be necessarily a heavy practice. It might just be reps and, you know, get a little bit of a sweat up, but obviously restrict the chance of picking up any injuries. Maybe run through a few different offensive sets and things. But yeah, I don't think it would have been a heavy workout. Not after the game they had yesterday.
It's like you said, they just want to go ahead and try to open up a big lead here to remove any doubt, so they can go to halftime feeling good about themselves. Start thinking about potential game with Japan. Here's Jenna O'Hay. Now the ball goes off of Bishop's hands. Ooh, Lynn. Mitchell appealing to say she thought she had a position.
No, for me, it's the right call from the official. I think she's still moving sideways. Yeah, she is.
Right.
She's not set straight. You're allowed to go directly backwards, but you can't be moving laterally at all. And I understand the frustration because she's not really initiated the contact at all, but you have to make your stand.
Wagner just sitting back and hoping his team can start scoring some points here. Been a tough ask so far. But those are 2 free throws from Lynn.
Well, they've had a better second quarter than they have first. 7 points they've scored in this second quarter already. Only 9 in total in the first. So they're definitely getting better on the offensive end. But as we've said, whole tournament, you know, you can't start slow, especially against a team of the quality of Australia.
Oh, nice second pass from McBeggar, but it was knocked away by Chinese Taipei. Chain, high arcing shot, and McBeggar goes down. Now another shot on the baseline. And Mitchell finally gets it. Huang Fanshan in the game now for Chinese Taipei, number 5. Good job knocking the ball away there for Chinese Taipei by Wu.
Chinese Taipei continue to try and stick with that high pick and roll action with Tai, but Australia are wise to it at the moment.
Easy one for Ezzy. Ezzy McBeggar. Let's say that with a Scottish accent. McBeggar.
You did make her a bit Scottish, yeah. I'm from GB. If we could claim her as Scottish, I think we would.
Sai goes in and out. McAllen from deep.
And they just turn the screw even more. Australia are just relentless. They're not going to step back. They're not going to take their foot off the gas. Whoever comes off the bench is just going to bring in more and more energy. And they're about to make a treble substitution with Kayla George and Ebseri and Seacamp coming back in.
McBeggar with the block. And a 3-point in reply by Ching. So there will be substitutions for both teams, but before that, we're going to have a timeout.
I love that play. A shrug of the shoulders from Beck Allen before she caught the ball going. I'm not too sure what offense we're running. Then she just catches and drains the 3. Wonderful.
Inside the out, keep putting your head inside the outside. You're going to stunt. You can don't stunt. They don't want to drive. Okay, they'll hesitate, and then we can stay in place here. We've got to finish plays. Okay, someone gets a ball. 3 of us came one time, but we don't have to. Just 1 of us comes. Okay, congestion. No more offensive rebounds. You got to block out. Now down the other end, you know, we're not getting great looks. You got to seal harder.
这个人刚刚我们先少一个人，对不对？可是这个人有看到他传给他，你必须要绑一下，有人回来再回去，知道吗？不能完全空档，没有人守，对到人的区域，知道吗？一定要有人，然后旁边。
Run chin one time.
好，跑一次下巴，好，跑一个下
Okay.
巴。
Let's go defense. 1, 2, 3. Defense.
And I love Coach Brondello's timeout. You know, she's leading this game 41-19, and it's like it's an Asia Cup final when you're down by 5. You know, she's talking about those tight seal out on the offensive end. You know what I mean? Box out on the defensive end. Exactly, you know, she's showing exactly how she wants her team to play defense, and just that intensity level from Coach Brondello, it's infectious for that team. You can see why players are coming off the bench so amped and ready to go.
You know what the population is in Chinese Taipei? I bet you do. You've already done it.
23.6 million.
Wow, there you go.
Yeah.
And that just rolls off.
Yeah, just went to my long-term memory for that one.
Ezzy McBeggar with the rebound and put back.
Nearly a similar population actually to Australia as well, so.
Yeah, it's pretty densely populated, Chinese Taipei.
Yeah, and Australia is one of the least populated countries in the world for landmass.
Hong got the ball back to Ching through her own legs. Ooh, chive, the air ball.
It's always good to put a bit of geography in the middle of a basketball broadcast.
Oh, I didn't say anything about geography. I just said population.
That's part of geography these days.
Oh, right, is it?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, when me and you went to school, that wasn't geography. It was all volcanoes and glaciers and stuff.
True.
But no, it's it's all about populations now.
Well, speaking of geography, it's People's Republic of China to the west, Japan to the northeast, and Philippines to the south. There you go. Don't tell me you never learned something.
Nah.
Steph Talbot with the three-pointer. Blitzhouse knocks the ball out of Huang's Ping Chen's hands. Ebsry gets it to Kayla George, who took a somewhat difficult shot, maybe off balance a bit.
Yeah, if you're Cheng, you can't let Kayla George cut where she wants in the lane. You're going to have to bump her, you're going to have to body her and try and force her away from the ring. Letting her get the ball that close is usually going to end up in 2 points.
Tsai at the line, that's good. So it's back to a 25-point deficit, but Seacamp gets ahead on the fast break. And look at that finish from Kayla George, a twisting and turning Kayla George with a soft touch.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about. You have to bump her, you have to push her, and make sure she's not establishing herself in the paint, because if she does, it's a near impossible task for Chinese Taipei to stop her.
Wong. Long two for Wong.
I love that.
Wong. Yep.
Wonderful handle. Little crossover, trying to shake and bake a defender.
Did you just say Wonderful? Wonderful?
I'm not that quick-witted. That's
Kayla George fading. Seacamp gets in there and gets it. Well, tries to get it anyway. She's a battler, Seacamp.
Yeah, she is. She is. She's one of those backup role players that comes in for Australia where she just really picks up. You know, if there's a little downturn in their kind of their mindset and their energy level, she comes in and just kind of sparks it back up to the level it should be.
That was that shot by George. Seacamp actually is another one of those former college players in America, South Dakota. Played for the Coyotes.
And once again, Kayla George just sealing a defender down in the restricted area, and an automatic 2 points for her.
You know what film was filmed in South Dakota?
No. I'm sure you're going to tell me that.
Well, I said Coyotes, but Dances with Wolves. There you go. Blitzhouse brings it up against Pong. Seacamp, now Blitzhouse and Huang Fanshan ties up Blitzhouse, takes it away from her.
Doesn't happen too often.
No. Pong from the baseline. Now Talbot, Australia already with 50 points. 50-23 is the lead. And Ebsry, they run one last play here. The dump down to George, and she puts it up, And that makes it 52-23. In command are Australia here with 20 minutes remaining. That suggests they would have 1 foot firmly in the semifinals. But anyway, 52-23, Australia on top of Chinese Taipei at halftime.
Yeah, and here's your shooting percentages from the first half. As you can see, Australia pretty much dominant from wherever they want to be. Chinese Taipei struggling to get the ball in the basket. Only 8 field goals to their name. On the rebounding stake, the one thing Chinese Taipei can take a lot of heart from is they've got 9 offensive rebounds against the Australians. You wouldn't have expected them to be in that fight, but they're working hard on the boards on the offensive end. And as you'd expect, though, Australia with 3 blocks. So even when they do get the offensive rebound, it's a tough task to go up for it. Chinese Taipei will be happy with that second quarter performance. So you look at the first quarter performance, they only scored 9 points. Whilst in the second quarter, their defense might not have got much better, but they did increase their output to 14 points. It's still a huge, huge ask, though, for Chinese Taipei to go up against a powerhouse like Australia, and a powerhouse with a point to prove as well. That's the big one. And 20 minutes still to go. Australia still a little way from saying they've definitely got this one secured, but we'll have to wait and see.
Well, certainly this Chinese Taipei team are going to come out and play the next 20 minutes. I'm not exactly sure what Coach Wagner is going to be saying at halftime, but anyway, we'll be right back with you before the start of the second half. Australia lead at 52-23. Well, quite a performance for Australia, and Beck Allen, as you see her numbers, impressive as always. They are on top 52-23 in the qualification for the semifinals here at the FIBA Women's Asia Cup in Bengaluru, India, and it's been a terrific response to yesterday's disappointment against China. I think it's the type of response really that certainly you expected, Mark, and certainly I did as well. I mean, there's a gulf here in class between these two teams. I mean, there's a lot to like about the way Chinese Taipei play basketball, but they got into an early hole, and they have not been able to dig out of it.
And I think what they've also got is they've taken on an Australian team like a cat that's had its tail pulled. Do you know what I mean? That loss against China, they now have just got their backs up. They're kind of like, we're not having this. We've come here to win gold. We didn't come here to lose even a quarter of basketball, let alone a game. And, you know, for Chinese Taipei, they're just in the headlights now of this machine, this just juggernaut of Australian basketball, which is just really ploughing through. And again, it's important for Australia for internally their own psychology to gain that confidence and gain their, you know, their trust in one another again, but also externally to tell the rest of the tournament, we lost by 1 point. That's in the past. Look at what we can do and look how damaging we can be.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say this has been a, I don't even know if it's a backlash per se. I think it's more of a case of, you know,
every time we don't have to.
They were always going to be favorites. Let's listen into the coach.
And guards, don't be afraid if you're down here earlier and the point guard's still coming, change. Okay. Let's go. Hey, let's have fun. Let's go. Let's go defense. 1, 2, 3. Defense.
No, just take what's open. If it's a zone, just cut and then you're in there. Catch the ball at one point. You cut it and pass it to Steph, and then you get a flare. Read the ball in the hand with the flare. I'm not sure you do that. Okay, let's go. Execute. 1, 2, 3. Come on, let's go. Let's go, lads. Do your girls. Let's go. Let's go.
And as you'd expect from Coach Brondello, just a nice, calm, happy timeout for here. And, you know, she'll be so happy with how her team, 1 through 12, have reacted to that loss yesterday. They've come out and done such a professional job and really shown this tournament exactly what Australian basketball is.
Okay, second half action underway, and Chinese Taipei come right out, run a nice little play. The bounce pass is there, but the defense is just so solid from Australia. And, you know, Beck Allen, okay, she has that great reputation for being a scorer, but she's also out there playing defense, isn't she?
Oh, she does so much more than just score the ball. She really does. You know, she's got 4 rebounds to her name tonight, and obviously the scoring is the biggest threat, and it's the thing that grabs the the headlines. But there's so much more to her game, and she's, you know, there's so many other aspects that she impacts this Australian team.
But let's see what kind of fights in this Chinese Taipei team, if they're going to go down effectively swinging, or are they going to go quietly. Well, Kayla George gets the rebound, goes over to Beck Allen. And look at that interior passing. I mean, George is just the complete player tonight, isn't she? And
yeah, she really is. She's showing her range of skills. Well, wonderful long-range shot. And Chinese Taipei won't go away. They can play in every possession as if it's a fresh one, which is great to see.
Wow, good block by Chin after making the three-pointer. Swatted Ezzy McBeggar.
Giving up almost 20 centimeters against McBeggar, and still manages to get up and swat it away.
And he gets the foul. Foul on Han. Oh, Han kind of lost her footing. Not sure what happened there. And she pops out, and she gets her shot blocked by Ezzy McBeggar. Beck Allen open, why not? Count it! That's what she does.
Just constant pressure the Australians put on you. You can't step back for them for a second, and if you step too far forward, then they're going to take you to the basket.
Wong can also put him up. A little bit too long that time, and Chai comes from behind, knocks it out of bounds, and Kayla George says, I think maybe got hit on the arm there a little. But this is a tough women's game at the FIBA Women's Asia Cup, and it's only going to get tougher.
And I've quite enjoyed
the
that.
next 2 days.
The referees have let this be a physical tournament, and I'm not against that. I'd like, as long as it's consistency, and that's exactly what the officials have done. They've let there be a physicality to the tournament.
Tsai, yep, you're right. And look at George almost coming up with a steal. I'd much rather see a physical game than a touch foul game.
Oh yeah, it's so frustrating.
It stops the clock. It's, you know,
and it just, you lose the rhythm. You know, the basketball's a game of runs and momentum, and if it's constantly the whistle blowing, the momentum is always lost. There's no flow to the game. But the nice thing you've got is the officials have kept it just the right side of things. You know, they've done a great job of making sure we have a physical encounter in every game that we've got, but that the players stay within the right realms of the game.
Oh, nice. Rebound and touch pass over to Mitchell from Talbot. Oh, clear push on Tsai. She's going to go help her up. that was blatant. That was... Anyway, watch this. You see the push. Watch her.
What are you talking about? It was just an armbar. Yeah, clear foul. But again, that's the problem they've got when George is establishing herself there. You just feel like, oh, I'm going to have to shove you out, because if I don't, then I'm just going to get scored.
Yeah, but that said, it should take a little bit of a harder push to get George over.
In the real world, it would.
Here she is, getting the ball, putting it up and banking it in. He's got 12 points. And shot clock did not, sorry, they started the shot clock too late, so they want to take a couple of seconds off.
You see a score from Kayla George. It's great to see a player who has the backboard almost as part of the repertoire. You know, you see so many players that almost ignore that the backboard exists. It can be such a useful tool to, at the right angles, to get easy scores.
A little bit of confusion there. Neither Ju nor Tsai going for the ball, and it goes out of bounds. So back over to the Opals. Offensive foul on Blitzavs.
Yeah, just a moving screen, trying to seal almost the entire Chinese Taipei team out of the way to get Beck Allen open for the three.
Look at all that talent over there on the bench.
Look at all those smiles as well. They're happy. They feel that they're almost booked their ticket in the semi-finals.
Huang from deep, count it. She has certainly made her mark from three-point range in this tournament. She's 2 of 4 tonight. Nice bounce pass into Talbot, and she was hit while attempting the shot, so she will go to the line. Steph Talbot, one of the many Australians that have made it, played professionally over the WNBA. Look at this.
There's the three from the wing, almost a mirror image of the three earlier in the game from Huang Lingcheng.
Which was nice about for the Australians is most of them also play down under. Here's a nice turn and shot from Tsai.
It's certainly an interesting aspect of women's basketball that you have a lot of that. You know, you have a lot of players that are playing double seasons almost because of the WNBA season being on almost the opposite of most other professional women's leagues. In one good way, you're getting to play more games, and another way, you're putting a lot more wear on your joints.
Well, basketball will take you around the world, as this tournament shows. If you get to a certain level, and all of these Australians, you know, they get a chance, for the most part, to play Down under, they go to America, they go to Europe. Talbot reaches in, and foul was called. So it's a 32-point lead, and no signs of a Chinese Taipei recovery. Seacamp is coming back into the game. Abby Bishop, here it is again. Pretty good, pretty decent defense there. This was the basket by Tsai.
The nice thing is, each quarter that goes along, Chinese Taipei seem to be working their way into the game better. They've only trailed within this quarter really 3 points. You know, 11-8 in favor of Australia in this quarter.
Here's Pong again. She's 3 of 5 from three-point range.
Yeah, make that 11-11 now. Both teams scored 11 in this quarter, so they're certainly playing better as each quarter passes by.
It's funny, she's not the player that I think of first when I think of this Chinese Taipei team, but she's been arguably their most consistent player, and she comes off the bench.
Yeah, she scored 12 points against Japan, and anyone that can do that is someone that can score the ball. You know, Japan do not give you easy options. They do not give you easy looks at the basket, so anyone that can get in double digits against them, you know they've got some offensive talent.
There she is. I mean, it seems like every time she lets that ball go, you could just see it just heading straight. The high arcing shot, bringing a little bit of rain, a little bit of moisture from the roof that's above us, bringing it, and just goes right through the hoop.
And she's one of those unassuming players. You know, the majority of the players that are high scorers usually come with the attitude and the swagger to go along with it, but she just seems to be one of those keep your head down and get the job done kind of players.
Ebzery passes out to Blitzavs. There it is, Blitzavs again. Misses, gets it back. She's a real workhorse, isn't she? Takes it back outside to Ebzery. Ball goes out of bounds. Huang again. Well, that time not successful. But certainly, I would give her the green light whenever she's open. Bounce past Ebzery to Seacamp. Tries to get it to Blitzavs. Australia will have it. With 16 on the shot clock.
It's almost like a swarm, especially as they wear the yellow. You just feel like it's a swarm of players coming down the court, and they just kind of engulf you. And so smooth the way they play the game.
Are you comparing them to a swarm of bees?
Yes, that's what I'm doing. And you watch them run, and you know, such free-flowing basketball when they're not contested, because at the moment Chinese Taipei aren't really restricting them, bringing the ball up the floor. It's wonderful to watch them run the lanes, very structured on the way they approach transition.
Lynn's pass intercepted. Ebzery passes up the layup attempt to get it to her teammate, and Nicholson's attempt is goes over the rim. Pong's going to come back in for Ju. So just think, I mean, before Australia and New Zealand entered Asia, you know, before 2017, you really had China, Japan, Korea, and Chinese Taipei.
Yeah, it's your big hitters.
So really the stakes have changed dramatically for the likes of Chinese Taipei.
Yeah, you kind of feel for them because they have a lot less chance of making it to a podium than they used to, but ultimately, as a country and a basketball nation, they're only going to get better by playing better teams, you know. These players will be a lot better after this game. They'll have experience playing one of the best teams in the world, and, you know, you naturally will get better from that.
And let's not forget Chinese Taipei ended the run from the Tall Ferns in 2017. So the Tall Ferns aren't at the same level, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, they came in, I think they're ranked 42nd.
I don't know what you mean. It's a very different looking Asia group, an Asia kind of zone now, and much more competitive, much more exciting, both women's and men's.
Seacamp with the rebound. Oh, nice. Mazy little run into the lane.
And I think the thing you see, you know, on the men's side of the Asia zone is an awful lot more high-level teams, and you just hope that the women's are able to do that. Some of the Middle Eastern teams and things like that are able to bring in, you know, and invest and support their women's teams, because surely they want to be a part of this amazing event, this amazing tournament. You know, getting to play against these kind of players and pitching their best players against it, it would be wonderful to see.
Yeah, you've got the Iran, obviously, comes to mind. Jordan.
Yep.
Lebanon. In the men's side. Then goes up, banks it in. The Rondello calls a timeout.
Timeout, Team Australia.
I think we need to listen in because I'm not sure she's entirely satisfied.
Finish the play. Okay? So it's like, we got to go tag him. They cut here, we just think we're going to out-jump it. You got to go tag him and hit him. Okay, don't just wait for him. Find somebody. We got to start, we got to build a habit right now. Okay? Right now. Now do a little bit of chase. Okay, so get some more chase action, run some weak action, some claw action, the movement here, the penetration. You know, they're switching a lot, doesn't matter, but make sure we get a little bit of inside presence as well here. Okay, you tap head, I want to see that, and that's the play you're going to do right now. Okay, so we're going to mix it up here.
They either pick from a bottom, so you kind of pull back and go. If we're in motion, you don't have to move it quick and go. Hey, let's go. Let's play real good defense right now. Let's go defense. 1, 2, 3, defense.
Yeah, I mean, Sandy Brundello is exactly right. And you know why? Because I'm thinking if you're going to have any chance to beat a team, especially like Japan, you know, they place a premium on execution for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, you can't get lazy. You know, she says, let's form good habits. Let's do it. This is, you know, if you're not going to finish the play, just tell me. I'm going to bring you out and I'm going to put somebody else in.
Yeah, and complacency is like a virus in this kind of environment. If you let it just that seed to start, you know, that first almost infection, you'll just see it go through every single player. You know, if they're seeing their teammates not putting everything in, not executing as well as they can, then you'll see every player eventually start picking that up as a habit.
Blitzavs from the left where she hit that big three last night. Missed that one. Here she is, though, follows it and puts it up.
Just wonderful, wonderful team play against, you know, Blitzavs making the right cut and just found with the perfect pass from Abby Bishop.
Lynn. Up to the right, misses, and now Seekamp in the open floor. Goes all the way. Chai gets it down low, has it taken away by Blitzavs. 3-on-1 break. Nice job getting it back to Blitzavs, who makes the shot. Nice little touch pass back by Nicholson.
And just a near textbook transition offense. Just exactly what, you know, you teach all age groups on how to run transition. Make sure you're staying spread until you get, you know, into the three-point area at the other end, and then they collapse in, and just pure unselfish basketball. And here's the Abby Bishop pass to Blitzavs, slicing through the lane, and someone's got to body her. That's the thing, and you know, Australia have a tougher time of it tomorrow's game against Japan, because Takada is likely to step across and potentially knock you to the ground if you make that cut.
Maki Takada. Is that right? Here's Garvin. She's back in the game and guarding the ball. Cheng. Fong Fan-Chan has to put it up. Gets it up just in the nick of time, but misses everything.
You can see Seekamp calling the offense, and I like this. They're still using it to run through their offensive sets.
Good finish by Bishop.
Yeah, nice slide to the basket from Bishop, and like I said, it's just nice. It's important, you know. You can run your sets against, you know, in training against yourselves, but there's nothing like a real live environment to run the sets, and that's what they're going to use this for now.
Camp. Ooh. And the drive and miss. Camp has to get it up quickly before the shot goes, as he makes it.
And that kind of sums up Australia's performance in this game. You know, they're up by so many, but Camp is not going to accept that. She puts the burners on and just uses that such strong upper body to get herself the buzzer beater. Looked like a really tough shot as well.
It was.
Wonderful play, and you see the reaction from the bench. They're enjoying that.
Camp's basket makes it 73-36 Australia with 10 minutes remaining.
Here are your shooting stats from this qualification for the semi-final game, and Australia lighting it up across the board, and Chinese Taipei struggling. They only scored 13 field goals across the first 3 quarters, and Australia have not been kind. They've continued to apply the pressure. They've rotated through all their players, and every single player that's come off the bench has contributed more. It was a better quarter for Chinese Taipei, but still at the back end, Australia managed to pull away even further, taking the lead to 73-36, and you feel that Australia now are just using this as a final 10 minutes to get themselves ready for their biggest game of the tournament, the semi-final against Japan tomorrow. The Chinese Taipei, as you can see from these highlights, can take heart from how they've played. They've certainly, you know, done some good things, done some positive things. The likes of Huang Lingchen shooting the ball well from outside, 3 from 6 for her, and the new Ting, 6 points, 4 rebounds, and a steal chalked up to her name. So there's individual performances that have played well. It's just they've faced the brick wall of basketball, which is Australia at the moment.
It's Ken Wagner talking to the referee. Interesting history. Ken Wagner, born and raised in Chihuahua, Mexico. You wouldn't have thought that, would you?
No, he doesn't look like he was born and raised in Chihuahua, Mexico, that's for sure.
But graduated from BYU, Brigham Young University in 1979 with a bachelor's degree in physical education. There's a foul called. Also, he did a Mormon mission, served a mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Monterrey, Mexico. He's been around. He was at BYU Hawaii for more than a quarter of a century and won a lot of basketball games. So you're talking about a coach with a lot of experience.
And it's great for a program like this who are trying to develop, create a powerhouse status similar to that of Australia, to have a coach with that much experience and to come in and kind of shape. And it's not just how you play the game, it's the whole culture that surrounds how you approach the game as well. You know, head coaches in these kind of programs really do have a huge, huge impact for years to come.
Edwards stepped out of bounds.
Yeah, it's good defense by Chinese Taipei. Just enough pressure on Ebzery to force her to step out.
So it's Nicholson, Garvin, Ebzery, Beck Allen, and Abby Bishop on the floor for the Opals. Oh, nice. You like the use of the backboard. There it is. The glass.
I like the move full stop. The little spin away. Almost the Nowitzki-esque
yes, there was.
Step back.
The kiss.
Yeah.
Nice pass. Oh, doesn't go down for Abby Bishop. Wu misses from deep. Abby Bishop's pass intercepted right into the hands of Pong. And that goes off the back of the iron.
Oh, the direct nature, though. The Pong's just, you know, looked at the basket and knew exactly where she wanted to go. She wanted to go straight down the lane, and unlucky, really, not to get that one to drop. Just a slightly softer touch needed.
Here's Ebzery. Big pass to Nicholson on the break.
Yeah, and that leaves just Leilani Mitchell on the Australian roster to have scored any points. You know, she's the only one that's been left out of the party. Everyone's got minutes, and I'm loving Coach Mondello's rotation today. She's known that the likes of Jenna O'Hay have played big minutes, so she's only played 7.5 minutes today. Smart move, resting players like that who have contributed heavily in this tournament. Give them almost give them their rest day that they've missed out on.
That's where he gets in, goes baseline, or drives in rather, puts it up off the glass and in. Wong fouled by Nicholson, so that'll give Australia a chance to bring in 4 players.
And you look at you look at their rotations, and there's nearly no difference between any of the players. Bar Jenna O'Hay, who's obviously been given almost the day off. Yeah, pretty much all their players, anything ranging from about 12 minutes up to about 17 minutes, and that's not easy to do. As a coach, I imagine she's leaning heavily on her assistants to help her with those rotations to make sure everyone's getting, you know, equal minutes, so everyone's going to be similarly fresh when they face a huge game tomorrow. Already getting excited for that one.
I guess the plan will be to go back tonight, eat, and then I guess you need to look at some game tape, don't you?
Yeah, I think so.
Japan.
I think so. As much as you don't want to look ahead, you'd imagine that the coaching staff definitely will have, and potentially some of the players will have already started looking at game tape for Japan. They'll have already started picking Japan's defensive and offensive structures apart, started getting their game plans in place. You know, they won't. I don't think they'll have waited for today's game. I think they'd have been reasonably confident that they'd have won today. So yeah, you imagine preparations are well underway for them playing Japan. Which is obviously going to be a rerun of last tournament's final.
Yep, 2 years ago. C-Camp, we see her a lot in the open floor, don't we? Gets it back to Blitzavs, now C-Camp. Players all over the floor.
But what I like about the introduction to C-Camp almost as the backup point guard, or one of the backup point guards, obviously Leilani Mitchell is the first choice, and she's the kind of floor general. When you bring C-Camp in, you get a very different kind of point guard. So it's nice, it's a different look, you can run a different thing. If the undersize of Leilani Mitchell is causing issues, you do have different options there to go at. It's nice not to just have a straight, almost replica to come on the floor. Gives you more options for Coach Mondello to work with.
Talbot gets it over to McBeggar. She gets her shot blocked again by Wu.
That's great help defense by Wu.
Don't think she got it off in time.
Definitely not. And I like the fact they're looking to front McBeggar in that low post. The issue I have is when you front in that situation, what you really need to do is front and start walking yourself backwards, because she needs to push her back under the basket. You front too far out, and with someone with the wingspan of Mubega, it's an easy pass over the top. If anything, it's almost as easy as just a straight up passing to the front of the post.
Nicholson to Talbot. That's good. I believe that's her second three tonight.
Yeah, 6 from 15 now for the Aussies. Continue to shoot well from outside.
It was like Huang was going to pass it out and then went up for the shot. Actually, Talbot's 3 of 4 from three-point range.
Almost a good save by Pong, but couldn't quite recover the ball in time.
What's going on here?
Not too sure. You see a replay of the three from Talbot. That's the problem. You can't slack off pretty much any of these Australian players. They all have good range to their game.
Beggar catches it low and goes up. Once she raises the ball up, that's when she's got it.
Yeah, catching the ball that low in the post for McBeggar is almost an automatic too. And I think what's great for a young player like McBeggar is to be around the likes of Kayla George. You know, that is a Kayla George move, full stop. Work so hard, use all your energy, you know, expend that energy to get that post positioning. Before you even get the ball, she spent 90% of the energy just getting where she wanted to be before she got the ball. And, you know, it's a lesson you need to learn. It's not all about when you have the ball, it's the work you're doing without it. And yeah, she's got some great experienced players above in the Australian roster that she can learn from.
Well, foul called on Bishop, it appears.
Yeah, she feels like she took an elbow or an arm across the face.
Look at her down there. Now watch this. They just got tangled up there.
You could call that either way, if I'm honest. I can understand why they've called it on Bishop. It's that trailing arm that she's almost pushing back, but not really sure who it was from Chinese Taipei. I think it was Huang. Was kind of dragging her back by her face as well. So in the UK, I think that's what we call handbags.
Yes, it was. It was on Huang, in fact. That's a good guess, though. To say that it was
You're playing
on
the
Huang.
odds. You're playing the odds. Yep.
Uh-oh, spin. So 4:35 remaining. I don't see, I'm looking around the arena. I don't see Japan here. I guess they've already scouted Australia.
Yeah, I was looking for Tom Hovas earlier, or one of their scouting team, and I've not seen it. Ultimately, you know, this is obviously being broadcast, so you can do a fair bit of scouting from the live broadcast. They'll obviously get access to the tape tonight as well from this game.
Oh, in fact, Blitzhouse might have gotten away with a push there.
But for me, the one thing you've got with the Australian performances, they've not done anything you didn't know Australia could do tonight. There's nothing, there's no, you know, magic tricks that they've achieved. This is just a really strong performance from Australia, really in the kind of DNA of Australian basketball.
Oh, Talbot was going for a 4-3. Wu saying she didn't touch the ball.
Yeah, Garbin's going to come in for a Blitzabs now, and Chinese Taipei are going to make 3 changes as well. The hot hand of Huang Ling Cheng coming back into the game. See if she can add to a tally.
Abby Bishop going off 1 foot. Garvin with the rebound. Talbot does not save it before it goes out of bounds.
If you're Australia now, you have a feeling you don't want to expend any more energy from any of your players. They've all done well and job's done, and you certainly don't want to pick up what would be a nightmare injury on any of your players. 1 through 12, you don't want to pick up any injuries. So I'm sure if Coach Brondello had a fast forward button, she'd be pressing it now to try and get to the end of the game as quick as they can.
Chen puts it up from deep. Nice stroke from Chen.
Yeah, in the face of Bishop as well. Bishop chased it out hard and kept the concentration and kept the eye on the prize.
Nicholson comes in on the baseline. Huang, it's 2 in a row now.
On the hot hand.
2 in a row for Chinese Taipei, and the timeout
From the perfectionist, Coach Brondello. She's obviously not happy they're giving up shots. And to be honest, I can understand that. That's way too much space. If a player's just hit a 3 on you, why are you stepping back a meter from them? You know, you should almost be denying them the ball, let alone giving them space to shoot the ball again.
So big.
I'm not going to run this right now. This is a 1, obviously. This is a 4. You come off Abby. Yep. And then you come off like high-low. But if she doesn't get it, this person here raises, you reverse it, follow the ball, stagger away. Okay. So we're trying to get the ball in there. So if you can seal in the paint, give it to her. Then it's a stagger. If you don't get it, I want to do the pinch action, okay, not the high pick and roll. But right now we're doing fist 2. Okay, Beck, you're here. Okay, coming up. Abby, you're going to set a screen. Noodle. Yep. So Dust, stay a little lower here. Coming off here, and then red screen now.
Let's go. Go big. 1, 2, 3.
Divas.
And again, Coach Brondello there, she's just going to continue the same formula from the opening tip to the final buzzer, no matter what the score is. And I like that. I like the fact that we have that.
Well, there's Zoran Visic, coach of India here, checking out the action. Got a nice seat, doesn't he? Sitting right next to the Indian men's coach, Veselin Matic.
Imagine the conversation those two are having. Get them mic'd up.
Ooh.
Yeah, I can understand that. Frustration from Bishop. It is an offensive foul. She's run away too soon. You have to let the defender come past you before you turn and run. This is, you'll see it now. She set the screen and then she's turned to run away. Yeah, and her foot's further out than a cylinder as well, so it's the right call, and quite a hard fault. And it's not the most forgiving floor as a basketball floor. As sprung as it is, it's still, yeah, not a fun thing to fall over on.
Chen gets in and scores despite having Beck Allen right behind her.
Yeah, Chen's done a good job.
Yeah, she'll be a part of this program for a long time, you would anticipate. Seacamp, nice riposte from her. The reaction. Garvin fouls Wu.
And I like how Chinese Taipei have gone about their business, you know. They must have felt pretty early on that the game was pretty much out their grasp, maybe even in the first half, but they've carried on, you know, following Coach Wagner's system and trying to tinker and change things to impact the game. And they've certainly got better as the game's gone on. You know, in this final quarter, they're tying with Australia 13 points apiece. And that's, you know, from work on both ends of the floor, both defensive and offensive, and they can be proud of what they've done.
Yeah, I was wondering how they're going to come out for this fourth quarter, but certainly Wu, also Chen, especially that two, have done a good job.
Obviously now Chinese Taipei will look for that classification game, a 5th place game against New Zealand tomorrow. And some people say, you know, oh, what's the point in these classification games? Come and watch the game tomorrow. I'm pretty sure both those teams are going to go hell for leather to try and win that classification game. They want to finish as high up this Asia Cup as they can.
Yeah, also ranking points will be at stake. Both will be at the pre-qualifiers for the Olympics.
But you never know when those ranking points are going to come in handy. You know, you just don't know, you know, when they're going to maybe earn you a berth in a different competition, or give you a chance, like you say, a better chance at Olympic qualification, or just give you seeding in a tournament that helps you out.
Oh boy, that was a tough drive by Nicholson. See, she actually got popped kind of in the side of the face and just kept going.
Yeah, Nicholson's a tough player. She's happy to make those moves and make those plays. Doesn't seem to get easy scores, she just gets those tough ones.
Wu puts up another one from the baseline, and Coach Wagner shaking his head.
That's not the shot they want coming out of that offense.
So another baseline jumper from Blitzavs. Final minute. Chinese Taipei trailing 90-51. Huang back outside the Huang. See what I mean? There's a lot of Huangs. There's Huang. Ju puts it up from deep.
And Chinese Taipei can be quite happy with their offensive production. You know, 51 points isn't bad. Bear in mind they only scored 44 against Korea, 49 against Japan. So they've had, you know, they've had, for the level they are at the moment, in the stage in their development they are, 51 points against what is a very impressive 1 through 12 Australian team is not a bad night at the office.
Wagner felt like his player had been fouled. He got up and talked to the referee about it. Wu turns and can't get it to drop. So that'll be it, folks. Australia convincing, as we knew they would be. Came out with a sense of purpose, and they've accomplished their mission. They have finally gotten to the semifinals. They win 90-51 over Chinese Taipei. Next up, Japan.
Yeah, and Australia did exactly what they needed to do after the heartbreak 1-point loss to China last night. They needed to come out, put a strong performance, and not just a strong performance, put an Australian performance, make sure they stamp this entire game with Australian basketball, and that's what they've done. They've played tough defense all the way through. They've played smart offense. That's the key. They play really heads-up smart offense and team offense, and that's what's given them this big win and earned them that big game tomorrow. And here are your shooting stats, and Australia shooting well from all over the court. Chinese Taipei struggling. Still hit 6 threes though. They'll be reasonably happy with that. And then the Australians lock down the boards in the second half, winning the rebounding battle 51-39.
So they play this game to get into the semifinals, and Allen came out and really played well tonight from the off. 15 points. Seacamp, look at that, 10 rebounds coming off the bench as the point guard. That is good work from her. And O'Hay, for the limited amount of time, still had 5 assists. And Blitzavs again coming off the bench with 4 steals. So, you know, the one word that comes to mind: effort.
Yeah, a massive amount of effort. Well, like I say, 1 through 12, they just keep going. And for Australia, it's the big win. And it's done the right way, you know. Coach Brondello, you've got to love how she coaches. She didn't let her team become complacent for 1 second of that game. And when she saw it starting to happen, straight away, even the game was done, call the timeout, bring her team back in and say, what are we doing? This isn't how we play basketball. It doesn't matter what the score is. It doesn't matter who we're playing. We play basketball a particular way, and if you're not going to play that way, then maybe you're not going to be on the floor anymore. and exactly the right way to coach, because you can't let that complacency slip in now, because if they start slow against Japan, that is a big, big uphill struggle to come back into it. And obviously for Chinese Taipei, it's another learning, it's another lesson, it's another development stage in that program, and I'm sure Coach Wagner will have plenty of development points from this game for his team. And they go into tomorrow's game against New Zealand as, I don't know, would you say, for me, I think there may be slight underdogs against New Zealand, but not massively. I think it could be another really good competitive game.
I think so, and you know, it's all about habits, and I know that New Zealand again will probably be eager to get out and try to get another performance to try to continue to keep improving at, you know, maybe even more so than Chinese Taipei. Although that said, Chinese Taipei came out and, you know, really tried in that fourth quarter. So, you know, both of them want to climb as high as possible in this FIBA Women's Asia Cup. So I think we'll have a good classification game with Chinese Taipei.
Yeah, we've certainly had a good day of basketball in Bangalore. Some good games, some close games. Plenty of heartbreak, though. I think there's some teams that really did want to move up in the kind of finishing positions from where they were in 2017, and it feels like teams are still similar positionings to where they were. But overall, it feels like the competition's taken a step forward as a whole as well.
I think with the performance from China against Australia, I mean, I think now we know we have 3 teams that really are elite in Asia.
And whichever team out of those 3 doesn't make the final is going to be disgruntled, and understandably so. All 3 of them think they're finalists, if not gold medalists.
Yeah, and don't talk to me about who's not here. You know, we know Liz Cambage is not here, but you know what? You play with who you bring, and this Japanese team is going to be ready, and that's going to be an exciting one against Australia. And I think Australia, you know, they love having the team that they've got here, and they want to see if they can go out and get a title.
Yeah, I think they're loaded to get a title. They've got a wonderful diversity in their roster. They don't have just, you know, identicates of one another. They have different ways of playing. They can go big, they can go small, they can look for exterior shots, they can go inside, they can get scrappy if you need to get scrappy with it. And you know, I think that China game is behind them now, and onto that big game against Japan in the semi-final. Can't wait.
We'll be tossing and turning tonight, won't we? Thinking about what's lying ahead. Anyway, this is what happened today. Philippines won, Korea ground out a win against New Zealand, and Australia have rolled to a big one. So that's it, folks. Thanks for watching again here in Bengaluru, day 4 of the FIBA Women's Asia Cup. Day 5 tomorrow is the semifinals.